Hey guys, Skip Bedell here, and we're at the Bedell house. We are in full force with our remodeling project, and right now we're standing in the middle of what will be our new kitchen. As you can see, we've done a lot of work up on the ceiling with all this beautiful stamped tin ceiling tiles, big exposed knotty rustic beams. We're really going for that rustic industrial look. And the last part of this ceiling, before we can move on to the rest of the house and work our way down to the floor and all the cabinetry, the very last piece of this puzzle is the lighting. Now, we had a challenge here in trying to find the right lighting fixtures for this ceiling, because in most applications you have enough depth to get a regular recessed hi-hat or a can up into the ceiling. This is an older structure built kind of like a cottage style. It's an old New England Cape style house. It's just an attic space up above this. So the ceiling framing is only 2x4. It's a true 2x4, but it gives us 4 inches with only a ½ inch of drywall below that. So we really only have a 4.5 inch deep cavity to put our cans. That's much shorter even than the shortest short remodeling can. So we needed to find something that would be the right size and diameter fixture, give us the right amount of light for the space, but also that was very short. So we did a lot of research, looked into a lot of different companies. There's a few companies that offer a product similar to what we're looking for, but in doing all that research, we talked to our good friends over at JUNO Lighting. Now, the JUNO Lighting Group basically makes awesome light fixtures that are custom designed to fit the application that you need. So they offer a lot of stock models of cans, but they will also make a can for you with different types of lighting optics, different light ranges as far as the lumens, the span of the light beam, the color of the light, and most importantly for our application here, in addition to all the color and the brightness of the light, we needed something that was not only going to be the right diameter and size, it's going to work with the ceiling tiles that we're putting up here, but also the most important part is the height of that can, because it's got to be able to fit up inside that space. So JUNO has this awesome 4-inch LED remodeling light fixture. Now, what I mean by that, the difference between remodeling and new construction, let's talk about that for a second. In many applications, when we're redoing a structure and we gut the whole place down to the frame as we did here, we can mount up new construction recessed hi-hats, and basically that's the fixture that's already mounted to the structure, and then we drywall around that and cut the holes and put our drywall up. The light fixture is already wired and in place before we put our ceiling application over that. In this case, we did remodeling cans because we knew we were coming back and doing this really high-end special design on the tin ceiling, and I wanted to be able to get these light fixtures cut exactly in the center of each one of these designs. As you can see, I've cut one of the holes there already. It was important that they fall right in the middle of that, and the only way that we can guarantee that is to use a remodeling can. So we did all of our wiring first. All the wiring was in place exactly where it wanted to go. We put up the ceiling tiles, and then we came back and we're going to start cutting some holes there and pulling the wires down through as we did, allowing us to get to perfectly in the center of that hole. So let's get back to the fixture for a second. This remodeling can will allow us to now pull the wire down through the hole. And speaking of the hole, JUNO gives you this template that basically comes with the light. This is great because it gives you exactly the size of the hole that you need to cut. And that's important because if you look at this fixture, there's a very short flange that goes around the outside of that. You cannot cut any bigger than this template that they give you, which is the interior size of this diameter, allowing that flange to catch the ceiling. So it's helpful having that template, putting it right up on the ceiling, we can mark and make a hole. Now, one of the tools that we use to make a hole like that is a radius cutter. And basically what I would do is that set it to the size of this template that they give us. We can take the point of that radius cutter, put it right in the center. I can adjust this blade where I want it to cut any size hole I want. As you can see, there's a little roller blade right on that. We adjust it right to the outside of the template, set it in place, and then when I push that up through the center mark in the ceiling, I can rotate this tool and it will cut me a perfect circle. It's a little bit of a manual job. It's only going to cut into just a short amount of that material. I'm still going to have to follow it up with a keyhole saw and go back in. But we wanted to get these holes really nice and tight, so what we're using here is a hole saw. It's the same size as our template. It's going to allow us to get the hole just the right size, nice and clean. No need to go back with the keyhole saw. When we push our cans up inside of that hole, we connect all the wiring, everything is done with the wire, close it back up, and push it back up inside. And then what we can do is we can push down these clips that JUNO puts into their light fixtures, and that will press down against the upper side of the drywall, locking the can in place exactly where we want it. So it's a really nice design they've given us. As you can see in the center of this fixture, no more light bulbs, no more halogens, no more incandescents. It's just a high intensity LED light fixture right in the center of that. And included with this fixture, they give you an optic that once the light is installed, you can take this optic and put it up inside of here and snap that in place. And what this allows you to do, inside the optic is a reflective cone that's going to intensify the light and also shape the light where it goes. There are different type of optics that you can order with the light. This is the one that we got for our application. They also make what they call a hyperbolic trim ring, which when we get done here, we're going to wind up replacing the optic and using the hyperbolic trim ring. And what that's going to do, basically it's a cone. It's going to go up inside this light fixture at a very steep angle, really almost making the source of this light disappear. So when you look up on the ceiling, you're not even really going to be able to see where the light's coming from. It's just going to kind of look like a black hole up in the ceiling, but then you'll have the light all throughout the room. It's kind of like a magical effect that happens here. JUNO is famous for that. They have some unbelievable patents and designs on their lighting, and they're exactly what we needed for this application. So I can't tell you, this is like a Christmas morning right now for me, because I'm super excited to be going through this box and start installing some of this lighting. But before I get into any more of the technical features or any of the other stuff that's going on with this can itself, I got to get back to cutting some holes. Alright, so let me get my drill set up with my hole saw, get some eye protection on here, and let's show you how it's done. So as you can see, we have one hole cut already on this side. Staying on this same line right here, I've already started it out. Coming back over to the design, we'll take our pilot bit, get it right up into the center of the hole, and we're going to work this hole saw right through the drywall. And there you go. And oh, look what we have here. How convenient is that? As you can see, there's a lot of time put into the layout, getting the wires exactly where they need to be. This tile was set up and laid out exactly for our lighting to fall in the center of every one of these designs. I didn't want them to be randomly placed on the ceiling tile. It was important that when we did the layout here, these lights fall exactly in place. So now that we've got all the wiring done, I'm going to start cutting the rest of these holes like I tend to do in total. I'm going to be back with you guys in just a few minutes and we'll pick up the next step.
Sunlight only warmer. I wanna be daylight in your eyes. I wanna be love only stronger. I wanna be daylight. I wanna live forever. I wanna touch your hand.
Back down off the ladder. As you can see, I got all these holes cut, wires pulled through, and already installed some of the cans. And I got to tell you, it's a super easy process here with the JUNO lighting. They make it really easy to put these lights in. Now let me talk a little bit about JUNO. This is a company that's super solid. They've been around since 1976. All their products are made in the USA. And when I was looking for a lighting company to supply us with these lights and do something really different, they stood out as the ones we wanted to go with for a lot of different reasons. They have awesome technical support. They really help us build the right light that we needed. So in speaking with a lighting engineer, whoever it is that you're talking to for your project, whether it's your contractor or a lighting store, be sure to ask for JUNO by name because they have some really great products. When we dealt with our lighting engineer, we wanted to factor in the size of the room, the color of the light that I wanted, the amount of lumens we needed to light up the room, and they took all those factors into consideration, and they can custom build a light to make exactly what it is that you need as far as light projection. So again, we talked about the fixture a little while before. This is a 4-inch by 4-inch high recessed lighting can, similar to your basic hi-hat fixture, only this is a remodeling can made to go in after the ceiling has already been put in. One of the things that I really liked about this product is that they offer quick connects on their power leads. So once you punch through one of the multiple knockouts that they have on the box, which is also really convenient because you can send your power source through on different sides, whichever is going to work out best for you, simply take the knockout out, put your Romex connector in. Basic Romex connector fits right through there. And once you have that in, you can run your power source right into this box. Now, rather than using wire nuts, and I'm an old school guy, I like to use wire nuts. You know, you get a good solid connection. I'm not really a big fan of most manufacturers' quick connects because I always feel like the wires could possibly pull out and interrupt that connection. But JUNO has something really unique. Their quick connects actually have locking switches. So once you put the wire into that port, you can lock it in place. 3 different wires can connect into that lock, and it's really solid, actually just as secure as the wire nut, and it makes the job really easy. I'll show you in just a minute when I install these lights how quickly it goes. So now that we have our Romex connector in here, I'm going to get up on the ladder and just give you a quick demonstration of how easy these cans go in. I put all the rest of these cans, and I saved the last couple for you guys to see in no time at all. So, all right, here we go. Okay, so we got our lighting fixture in place. Just get up in here and cut our power source. Obviously, when you're doing this kind of work, if you're not using an electrician, you're doing this yourself, make sure that those circuit breakers are turned off. You got no power going through this. And that's only if you guys are really familiar with doing your own electrical. If not, I always recommend using an electrician. Okay, so we got our Romex power source coming down through the ceiling. Holes been cut, pop the wires down through. We're going to bring the Romex through our connector. Nice and easy, just like that. Turn it around. We got the screws on the other side to tighten up on that clamp. It's going to lock those wires in place. Now that we got them through there, take our strippers, get that wire off, and watch how quickly it goes into these quick connects. It's actually really, the quick connects will make the job really fast and easy rather than using wire nuts. So once we get them spliced up, okay, so once we have our wires through, we separate the grounds, the neutrals, and the common, get them all stripped off. I'm going to show you how quickly they go into these quick connect adapters. Okay, so the ground, the neutral, and the common all have the quick connects on it, which makes it super easy. So just open up the lock on the quick connect, just 2 of them, run our ground wires right into it, into one port, lock it in place, into the second port, lock it in place, and we'll tuck our ground right inside the box. Do the same thing for the common and neutrals. Open up the ports, just like that. Pop it in the hole, lock it in place. Take the next one in the hole, lock it in place. That's it. No wire nuts. They're locked in place and they're super solid. They stay there, they're secure and safe, and that's the most important thing. Okay, last one. Last 2 neutral leads. Put that in the hole, lock it. Last wire, the hole, lock it. So now the neutral's locked in place. We tuck these wires in the box. Come back in with the rest of the wires that supply this LED dimmable driver. Now the driver's mounted right on the back of the plate, which is really convenient. You don't have to bolt that on yourself. It's already mounted. So all the wiring is done to that. That's all you have to do. Just connect it up to your power lead. We're going to fold these wires up, put them into the box, tuck them in there nice and neat. I'm going to lock this plate in place. Make sure it's nice and clean, no wires are getting pinched. And that's it. That's your whole electrical connection right there. Very easy. Now the holes have already been cut. They're cut to size. We're going to pop this can up inside. Now this is the beauty of a remodeling can because it allows you to locate it exactly where you want. As opposed to a new construction can, you have to cut the sheetrock around it when you're doing the ceiling. And with an application like this with these decorative tiles, you can see how important it is that it's right in the center of this design. I didn't want it to be out here or over here. In order for it to look proper and to be balanced aesthetically, it had to be there. So we chose to go with the remodeling cans. And again, being that we have such a short distance in our ceiling, these cans worked out perfectly. So you push your power supply up inside this hole. Pop the can up inside. So it's snug right up to the ceiling. Fold the clips down. And that's it. That's your installation. So the other beautiful part about this can is that these are air sealed and they're also rated IC rated, meaning that they can contact with insulation. So if you have insulation up in this ceiling, they can go right up against that insulation, all up to code, and they're also air sealed, meaning all the energy conservation requirements to contain the air inside the fixture. So that's basically the whole installation process. It couldn't get any easier than that. I got one more to go. I'm going to fire these things up and show you what it looks like. So when researching to find the right company to get the lighting that we needed for this project, of course being a general contractor myself and doing this in my own house, I wanted to get the very best that we can get. And after all the research, JUNO was definitely the company that we wanted to use. Now, as far as being a GC or an electrical contractor, if you're providing electrical fixtures for your customer, this is a great company to work with because I got to tell you, the customer support was amazing. They can meet just about any specifications or needs that you might have on the job, from the color of the light that you want, to the projection of the beam, to the lumens that you need to illuminate the whole area. They'll work with your contractor, they'll work with your electrical designer, and they'll put together the light fixture to make the job come out great. So I got all 10 of these cans installed pretty quickly. So now I'm going to fire it up and I'll show you what they look like. And here we go. Oh yeah. So now, of course, these lights are fully dimmable, which is really nice to have on LED because not all of them are. And they give you a big range of light. So now that we got the cans installed, this is the optics that snap up inside of it. This particular one that came with the light has a reflective cone inside of it and a frosted lens that goes over it. Very easy to install. Just pop it up inside, 2 screws, twist it, it locks in place, and that will shape the light any way you want. You can design these in many different ways. Now, we're not going to be using this particular optic. I got a hyperbolic trim ring that's on the way. We're going to show that to you next as soon as it gets here. That's going to be a black trumpet-shaped trim ring with a bronze bezel that goes over the ceiling. That's going to completely change the whole look of this light. So that's coming up next.